We are here today to provide you an updated information on an open homicide investigation the Janesville Police Department started investigating on Wednesday, April 17th, that occurred off the Peace Trail in the Fisher Creek area. Because this is an open investigation, we are limited in the details we can provide at this time, and is the reason we were not able to release any information prior to today's press conference. To be upfront and clear, all investigations of this nature are a tragedy, and we are deeply saddened to have to report this information to our community. Homicide investigations impact everyone associated to them and negatively changes everyone's lives. The victim's family and friends lose a loved one. The suspect's family becomes impacted by the conflicted emotions and remorse from the incident. And the investigating officers are forever changed for their experiences for the remainder of their careers and lives. These are the terrible realities we are faced with moving forward from one callous decision. All Janesville Police Department officers are dedicated to this community and the mission of the Janesville Police Department. We hold dear our community's needs and our core values. This investigation was handled with the highest level of law enforcement professionalism and integrity, and I can tell you today, it is because of our officers and our detectives' diligent efforts and the long hours they put into this investigation that our community remains safe and a homicide suspect is now in custody. This incident was not a random act of violence. This was a domestic relationship that soured and was isolated between two people. There are no community threats at this time. The specifics of this investigation and timeline will be covered by the lieutenant of our investigations division, Lieutenant Jennifer Seeger. Once Lieutenant Seeger is done, I will say a few words and then we'll open it up for about 5 minutes worth of questioning. At this time, Lieutenant Jennifer Seeger.
I'll go right into the investigation. On Wednesday, April 26th at about 12:42 p.m., the Rock County Communications Center received a 911 phone call from a citizen walking on the Peace Bike Trail in Janesville. The Peace Bike Trail is located along Afton Road near West Rockport Park Drive. The original 911 call came in from a citizen who was in the area walking the bike trail. The citizen reported locating an unknown deceased female in the woods. Initially, the Rock County Sheriff's Office was dispatched to the incident location. However, after more information was received, the Janesville Police Department was dispatched to the incident location. Officers of the Janesville Police Department responded and arrived at the incident location at 12:47 p.m. At this time, no life-saving measures were performed by the officers. The Rock County Medical Examiner later pronounced the victim deceased at the scene due to her injuries. The map here shows the general area in which the investigation took place. At that time, there was a large presence of officers in the area to maintain the crime scene investigation. We appreciate the tremendous amounts of patience and trust with the community during this investigation. As Chief Pearson mentioned, due to the integrity of the investigation, there was little information we could provide or release at the time. There was no personal identifying information present at the scene to assist officers initially in identifying the deceased female victim. Yesterday at 4:19 p.m., detectives received information to assist in identifying the deceased female at that time. With the additional information provided, detectives were able to identify known associates who last spoke to the victim. With that information, we were able to identify a possible suspect. At about 6:50 p.m., detectives located and spoke to Logan Barclay, who was identified as having a past relationship with the victim. Through this interview, more pertinent information was obtained to further this investigation. Detectives later obtained a search warrant for Logan Barclay's residence. The search warrant was executed at the residence last night at approximately 9:44 p.m. During the execution of the search warrant, officers located items of evidentiary value. Due to this being an ongoing investigation, I'm unable to disclose what those specific items are at this time. The suspect, Logan Barclay, was later arrested for first-degree intentional homicide and held at the Rock County Sheriff's Office pending his initial court appearance. I'll quickly go over the background or the history of both individuals involved in the investigation. The deceased female involved in this investigation is 22 years of age and a Janesville resident. The Rock County Medical Examiner is also still conducting their investigation, so there is limited information as it pertains to her injuries. She does not have a past criminal history and very little contacts with the Janesville Police Department. The suspect, Logan Barclay, 23 years of age, a Janesville resident. He did not have a past criminal history through the state of Wisconsin either, and very few past contacts with the Janesville Police Department. Both knew each other through a past dating relationship. We had a very dedicated team working on this investigation. This investigation is one of the many examples of the excellent partnerships the Janesville Police Department has, both with the community and how well our organization works together as a team. We will continue to be an advocate for the victim, and on behalf of the Janesville Police Department, I want to express our sincere condolences to the family and friends affected by this incident. Here's our general contact information. I'll also leave my business card and a copy of the PowerPoint. We can also make this information available at the end if anybody wants a digital copy of the PowerPoint presentation. At this time, I'll turn it over back to Chief Pearson.
Thank you, Lieutenant Seeger. The Janesville Police Department has recognized the high level of threat and concerns associated to domestic violence incidents. We have investigated, trained, and even created a domestic violence intervention team that proactively do follow-ups on domestic violence-related incidents. Also, they work with community partners, educate the public, and take steps to try to reduce domestic violence-related incidences from occurring. We will remain proactive in our efforts investigating domestic violence cases with the obvious reality we cannot police inside people's homes, yards, in their vehicles, or anywhere private that these incidences can occur. We rely on our community trust and support to encourage those living in fear from experiences with domestic violence, or even those having mental health crisis moments, to come forward and reach out to our agency, our community partners like the YWCA or the Rock County Crisis Center, to seek support, guidance, and protection. I would like to thank some of our partnerships for where we are at today and the success of this investigation. Our community in and of itself has been tremendously supportive of our actions and our decisions, and we appreciate their support and any information that they have regarding this matter or any other matter. Please feel free to reach out to us. Our patrol officers for their daily hard work and the contributions to this investigation specifically, and the Rock County Sheriff's Office, who we use for a few resources to investigate this matter, and all the other community stakeholders that we work with on a daily basis. If any members of the press are interested in getting a copy of the PowerPoint presented by Lieutenant Seeger, we did place our business cards on the back table over here. Feel free to grab one of those, send an email request to us, and we'll make sure you get a copy of that. It is at this time, I'll open it up for any questions from the press for about the next 5 minutes. Let's start right there.
Just to clarify, the PowerPoint reads that the initial call was made Wednesday, April 26th. Is that meant to be the 17th?
What's the date on Wednesday? Got to look at my phone, sorry.
It's the 19th today.
Yes, the 17th. Okay.
Just clarifying.
Thank you.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Do her injuries, what does that indicate on how she was killed?
Right now, at this point in time, because this is an open investigation, we're not releasing the information regarding what her injuries were and how they were sustained. We're not certain at this time because the medical examiner has not completed their investigation, and they'll be releasing that information in due time.
Okay.
Has the victim been reported missing, and how long do they think that she was there, deceased?
Do you have information on that? You have more specifics on it. I'll let Lieutenant Seeger answer that.
The victim was not reported missing by family, and that's probably the extent of the information we can provide, again, with the medical examiner report. We're just trying to identify a timeline yet, and as we speak, our detectives are still conducting interviews to narrow down that timeline.
So we're calling this a domestic violence related incident? Is that right?
This is a domestic partnership that occurred between these two individuals, and yes, this is a domestic violence related event.
Did the victim and the suspect live together?
At some points, I believe they stayed together, and there's a child between the two of them.
Do we know that if she was killed in that residence that the search warrant was conducted, or if the body was found?
I'll let Lieutenant Seeger answer that.
Again, at this time, it's limited information that we can provide due to the successful prosecution in behalf of the family, but we can say the crime scene occurred outside his residence.
Let's go to the back.
Do you know, like, I guess, so the area is still closed, do you know, I guess, specifically kind of like coordinates, like kind of like location?
Are you talking about pinpoint coordinates for it? I do not have that, and I'm not aware that we even do have that.
I guess, do you know, like, how long the area will be closed for?
I'll let Lieutenant Seeger answer that. She's in charge of the crime scene.
The crime scene was released last night shortly after the execution of the search warrant at the residence. So there's no crime scenes that are maintained by officers at this point.
You have a question?
When can we expect more information to be released?
We're going to have to work with our partnerships with the medical examiner's office, the district attorney's office, and then start reviewing all of our reports before we'll be releasing that. I honestly don't have a good time frame for it, but I would hope that we would have that together within the week.